for local business here. We just had a new grandbaby, so we're ordering one of these little rocking horses for a baby girl. So I'm gonna get started on this, and I'll shoot a few videos of the process once I get the patterns all laid out on the board. This is poplar. They're gonna be painted. So it's a decent hardwood to make a rocking horse out of it. It lasts a long time. Do a nice job, and it paints very well. So here we are. Alright, so I got most of my patterns lined up on the boards here. I ripped these boards down to fit the patterns. This is going to be for the legs. They're doubled up, so I only have to cut two. And then keeping them together, after I cut these profiles out, I'll be able to round over each side without getting them mixed up, so I'll have a left and a right. So that makes that a lot easier. So there's the 4 legs, and then these are the 2. This plan calls for 2 of these outside body pieces. So instead of cutting each one out and shaping each one, we'll do these together. So I wanted to show you guys how I do this on this double-sided tape. Leaving that tag on there. Just put the tape down. Push it down like that. Peel it up. And give it a cut with my knife. And there it is. And then when I trim this off, I'll just leave this tag on here. So the next time I use it, I don't have to struggle getting that tape up off of there. So that's how that's done. Then I'll just line these boards up here, like so. And then I'll just press them together. And that's it. Now I'll mark out the body, cut it out, profile each side, round over all the way around, and then I have a left and a right outside body part where the legs will be attached to that. And then same process is going to go on for the rockers, and then we'll move over to the bandsaw and start cutting out all the parts. Alright, so just like we did with the legs and the body parts, we're going to double up these rockers. We're going to rip this board to the width of these rockers, and then we'll stick those pieces together, so we only have to cut that profile one time. Now, here is a very simple way to set the saw for that depth. Just give it just a little bit of play here, and lock it down. That's the width I need for the arc on this rocker. So we'll cut this down, glue that together, then we'll be over at the bandsaw cutting out the rockers on that one. while I was shaping these up on the router table, I wasn't paying attention and I got a catch. Went too far, caught the end grain and tore it out. Now normally when you're making furniture and stuff, you usually make extra parts in case something like this happens. But this is going to be painted, so simple fix here is just mix up a little bit of Bondo and a little bit of hardener in this cup, and we'll just fill up this tear out on the end of this rocker right here. And when that all cures and hardens, we'll just sand it all smooth, and when we paint it, it'll disappear. So this is a good way to fix things like this. And it's a good way to fill some screw holes and things like that if you don't cut plugs, nail holes, things like that. But this is just a quick way to fix this little mistake here. So I thought I would just show you guys that. So when that dries hard, sand it smooth, and you'll never know that was ever there. So when I glue this body up on here, there's a lot of different pieces. You got the head piece, then there's this middle spacer, you got the outside body piece. There's two of those, so it's kind of a pain to line all this stuff up. The important place to get it lined up is across here where the seat's gonna go, and right here. So that's the important part. The rest of it can be dealt with once the glue is done. So the easiest way that I found to do this is I just put a little glue on it. This is going to have all kinds of screws and stuff going through it once we put the legs on it, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. The easiest way that I found to keep all of this together is to get it lined up right here, the parts that are important. And then, if you try to put this in the clamps, it's going to slip on you. So the legs are going to go about right here. So we just shoot a nail in it. Make sure we're still lined up pretty good there. And that's that. So that'll keep it in line. Put it in the clamps and squeeze it. And then we'll take it back and reshape all of this so it all matches on the front and the back, and then the body will be done. And the next thing we'll have to do is cut some wedges for these legs so they'll stay squared the way they're supposed to. And then the body's done and we're ready to start putting the base together. Some nice leg wedges right there. So those will put the legs out at display. They're supposed to be on the rocking horse. Got enough wedges here for 2 more houses now. Okay, so got the legs right here all glued up. I glued these wedges on the back. You can see that. Just glue the wedges on there like that. That holds display of the legs on the pony the way it's supposed to be when they're attached. So what I'll do next is I'll just trim that off a little bit with the bandsaw and then clean those up on the disc sander, and those will be a nice match for those legs. It's real quick and simple to do it that way. The easiest way I found to fit them up back like that. Alright guys, I wanted to show you this real quick before I get much further here. So I got the body all put together, talked about that yesterday, got all my parts made. We're going to clean up the rockers here in a little bit, but I wanted to show you how I put these legs on these little horses here. I do a lot of these, so a while back I made this little jig out of the body, out of one of the patterns that I had. So I cut the legs profiles in it, because these are marked on, actually on the plans when you buy them. So I made this little jig here so that I just put some glue on these. I'll glue it, put a little glue in there and slap that down in there. And then I'll shoot a finish nail in here just to hold it. I'll put a couple finish nails in there. And then that'll hold the leg in place. And I'll get all my legs on like that. And then when I stand this up, I will put a couple countersinks here in the leg and drive some long screws in there to make this a solid attachment, so that it's got some metal reinforcement in there, so when they're jumping on these and throwing them around and whatever, these will stay attached to the body. But this is how I get the proper placement for the legs on each side so they'll match, and then they'll fit on the platforms exactly where they're supposed to. It makes it a lot easier, saves a lot of time. All right, so just about finishing up here. I just made these handles out of some 3/4 dowel. This doesn't matter what kind of wood it is unless you're going to put a clear finish on it, but this one's going to be painted, so this is just some poplar dowels. So what I do though, you saw me sand these up on the lathe, but you don't have to have a lathe to do this, obviously, it just makes it easier. So I sand it up and shape the ends, put the holes in it, and then I use these 1/4 inch wood dowels. They're, well, metal dowels for wood with the wood thread on it. And then I'll screw that into the pony right here. Screw these on, and then the last few threads on here as it gets screwed in, put a little bit of CA glue on it and tighten it down really tight. And then no matter how much they pull on it and stuff when they're playing and everything, that's not going to come out or break out or do anything. It's going to stay right there. So this is a nice way to do that. And once we get these put on here, it's basically done. Then we're just going to paint it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to spray paint that with some rattle can spray paint. We'll prime it first just so the paint can cover easier. And then we're going to paint this white. And then Don's going to paint a nice little face on it, put the baby's name on it, and this one's going to be done. And that's about all there is to it. Really got about, I don't know, maybe 15 hours in it. Nothing really serious. We haven't been working full time on it or anything like that. So that's pretty much it. That's the little toddler rocking horse.